Hello and welcome to Ghostability with myself, Paranormal Mitch.
And Paranormal Siege.
Today's episode is going to be about misconceptions around haunted dolls, which we hear a ton of.
Yes, if you are very experienced in haunted doll land, a lot of these you probably know, maybe some you don't. If you are not, this is definitely the episode for you.
Yes.
There is an astronomical amount
We
of
could-
misconceptions that go around.
We could do this for days.
Yes. So we try to pick out the big ones. There are definitely more than this,
Yes.
but we try to pick out the big ones. And so we will take the misconception, break it down, give you the real deal on it, and then we'll go through the list.
Yes. Also, we have the return of our Spirit of the Week this episode.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So very excited for that
Yeah.
as well. Let's get started on our misconceptions then. Okay, so first one, and this is a big one that we get. Number one, every haunted doll is possessed by a human spirit.
This is not true.
Straight up not true.
The other misconception that goes along with that is it's either, people think every single one is human, and then on the flip side, we also get every single one is demonic.
I was gonna say that, but yeah, that's a big one.
And neither one of them is true.
For sure.
So just like anything else, there is no kind of one way with these things. So there is a huge range of different types of spirits, from human to non-human spirits, and non-human also does not mean evil either. In the same way that not all haunted dolls are negative, not all non-human spirits are negative either. Non-human spirits can be one of two things. They can either be they were alive at one point and they are no longer, but then there are also non-human spirits that fall into the category of they were never alive, and they have always been on that side doing their thing. So yeah,
we get a lot of different options that occur with this. So yeah, it can really be interesting, and I think it really shows to different cultures too. We have a lot of different options that come from different cultures, which is always fascinating. We talk about that a lot, which I always really enjoy.
Yeah.
Let's head to number 2. Haunted dolls are always dangerous. I feel like, yeah, super false. I feel like this is the one that I hear so much of, and
the second you say
the
you collect
second we
haunted
say
dolls,
it, and they're like, "Oh my god,
can they hurt you?
Can they hurt you? Do things get thrown at you in the middle of the night?" And we're like, "No."
Yeah. Do they watch you sleep? Are they trying to,
Yeah.
kill you?
Are they like pushing you out of your house?
I've gotten
Do they
comments
haunt you?
when I post haunted doll videos where people say you're trying to kill me because I
That's
posted the video.
wild.
But no, this happens a lot. Yeah, no, this happens a lot. Haunted dolls, are there dangerous haunted dolls out there? Yes. Are all of them dangerous? Definitely not. There are kid spirits, there are teenagers, and they are just like, these human spirits. A lot of them are just like you and I. They're just on the other side. So no, they're definitely not all dangerous, not all harmful, not all spirits drain your energy and scratch you and leave bruises and all of those things. In popular media, in the horror genre, we typically do see that is the case for all of them. So I do see where this misconception comes from, because that is what the horror genre leads us to believe. But definitely not true. We don't have anybody in this house that I would consider, dangerous.
Yeah, I would say this is one that definitely is influenced by the, paranormal versus paranormal entertainment.
Yeah.
That we've talked about a little bit in the past, where they have to latch onto something for entertainment, and unfortunately
it's usually negative.
It paints them in the negative light, which is really too bad, I think, because there's so much positivity that comes with them. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's not to say, every single haunted doll on the planet is safe, but not every single one is dangerous either. There's a spectrum.
Of course. Yes. Okay. Next one, number 3, haunted dolls move around constantly.
No.
Tremendously false.
Movement is actually pretty rare.
Very rare.
We do have several haunted dolls that move. Some move more than others, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
We have movement once every 2-3 weeks, maybe, from one of them. We have a couple of haunted dolls who are frequent flyers. Connor, Jessica. They both go down quite a bit. But we have others like Stefan and Sylvia, who have only fallen once in the time that we've had them. So it's definitely not a common thing. The reason it's not common is it takes an astronomical amount of energy to do that. And they just don't always have access to that kind of energy. And so, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I think another thing to think about with this one too is I feel like some people think of them as like flying across the room or like walking from room to
Yeah,
room or
no.
something like that. If there is movement, it's tremendously small.
Yeah.
And I think the reason we see big movement a lot of times normally the dolls are tipping,
Yeah, like
right?
falling.
So you get like a little bit of momentum and then they'll go.
Right.
It's not like someone, for the most part goes from completely sitting to all the way over.
And they don't have muscles either. So you think about it,
Exactly.
like when we're able to make these intricate movements, it's because, our muscles allow us to do that. They don't have that. So a lot of times it's like a slight little push and then gravity does the rest. I have also seen it's not always falling. Falling is very
Mhm.
common because gravity helps. I have also seen like a shift up,
Yeah.
maybe like a shift over, things like that.
Or like a
A head
turn.
turning,
Yeah,
head
that's a big
movement,
one.
things of that nature, but it really isn't that common at all. But it does happen
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
think also it's important to know that it's like personality driven.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of our haunted dolls who are, very mature spirits. They really don't
I
have
think they
any
could if they
desire to
wanted
move.
to,
They could if they wanted to,
but they don't.
but usually the ones that move are more of like our silly spirits who like to either
Like the
show something
attention,
is
yeah.
happening or get a little bit of attention, or like Jessica will do it to almost like alert us of something or to try and let us know something. So that sometimes can be a way for them to try and pseudo communicate with us too,
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like, look at me, I'm so cool. And
Which
that's cool too.
those are my favorite. Those are my favorite. We get a lot of those, especially I think we've talked this before, like around holidays. Oh
Connor,
my
yeah.
God, Connor on holidays. He was going down like every other day. Like so excited for Christmas. Next one. We are on number 4. If nothing happens immediately, the doll is not haunted. Oh boy.
This is a huge one I see a lot with
Yeah.
new collectors that are looking for support. I get so many messages from people saying, I just got a haunted doll. They haven't done anything. Did I get scammed?
Yeah.
And the first question I ask is, how long have you had them?
And they're like, it's been 2 days.
And then,
Yeah.
usually there are spirits who show up at your house and they are gung-ho and they are ready to go and show themselves to you. There are other spirits that can take weeks to months to do anything in front of you. So just because a haunted doll isn't communicative, active, using equipment, etc., doesn't necessarily mean it's not haunted, which is why it's important that if you're investigating a potentially haunted object, you give it time. Because I've seen it so many times where there are people who have a doll and it does nothing for months and months and months and months and months or even a year, and they're like, oh, it can't be haunted, and then one day it'll start randomly doing something. Because that external activity a lot of times takes a lot of energy, but it also takes a lot of comfort to show themselves to you. And so that's why it's important to do repeated investigations. And if you're a new collector, not jumping straight to the conclusion that you got scammed. Is being scammed a possibility? Yes.
Sure.
Does it happen to people? Yes, for sure. But it's really difficult to even know or be able to make a decision on if that is what happened for a couple months, just because of that warm-up period that is very necessary for so many spirits.
Yeah. I feel like they require a tremendous amount of trust a lot of times, and that takes a long time to build. I think we've heard from multiple different dolls that they've been scared that they're going to be sent away or something like that. So it takes a lot of confidence for them to really show that something is happening, especially if they've had very negative reactions to them doing something in the past. You can imagine if they go somewhere and someone reacts negatively, they're not going to want to do that again because they had that such a negative reaction last time. That's very, very common. And obviously it depends on the past of the spirit and the personality and the age and things like that. But I think the important thing is be patient. Build that relationship. There's lots of amazing ways to do that. And I think when the time is right, it will occur.
And sometimes, a lot of people take that warm up period as like they're doing something wrong as a spirit keeper, or the spirit doesn't like them, or the spirit being uncomfortable is because they're not happy. Not always the case either. We've actually had the opposite happen before, where it's because a spirit likes us so much that they don't want to, do something that could jeopardize them being here, which it wouldn't, but it's a worry. These are spirits that a lot of them come from traumatic backgrounds, things like that, things where they have scared somebody and gotten kicked out. But like Jasper didn't do anything for
A long
several
time.
months,
Yeah.
and I mean, I couldn't even get him to turn on a balloon light. I mean, he was just completely non-communicative. And then I had a conversation with him, and I brought up something super motivating, and he got very chatty with me, and it came down to like he was really enjoying his time, and he didn't want anything he did to scare me or whatever, and he made me promise him that I wouldn't get scared and all of these things, and then he's talked to me ever since.
Yeah, he's been super vocal after that,
And never a problem again.
which is really
So
quite sweet.
yeah,
And
it is.
very,
Sometimes because they care.
yeah, well, of course. And that kind of, I feel like it breaks my heart a teeny bit. Because unfortunately they've had these experiences in the past. But I think, like you said, trust the process.
Yeah.
It will come. Don't worry too much about
Yeah, for sure.
it. Okay. Next one, we are on number 5. Every haunted doll has a tragic or horrifying backstory.
No.
Not true.
Do a lot of them? Absolutely.
Yes.
But there are also haunted dolls that are spirits that passed from old age.
Hmm.
Willow is one of those.
Mhm.
Willow was an old age case, and that doesn't mean it was traumatic, nothing. She never talks about it, no concerns. We have had we have run into a lot of spirits. I would say same thing as like there's a huge variation in the way people pass when they're alive. Any of those spirits could potentially haunt an object. For sure. Again, our traumatic backstories common, yes, because that trauma is often what causes them to choose to stay here in this realm for whatever reason. But there are spirits who may have lived an entire full life, and the reason they're still here has nothing to do with their own backstory or their own trauma, and the reason they're still here may very well be because they want to continue to help people or teach or serve as a guide or any number of things that are perfectly rational. Sometimes their
Mhm.
choice to stay has more to do with the afterlife than what happened to them when they were alive, and we do see that.
Yeah.
So
Another thing I feel like I've learned specifically is don't assume that they're here for a reason that you think it is. A lot of times they can be here for a lot of different
yeah,
reasons. And just because they,
and some we wouldn't even think
and
of.
some you even think of, and so, just because they have a tragic backstory doesn't necessarily mean that that's like the sole purpose that they're here.
Right.
A lot like I think Omi is a good example. She just basically said like she doesn't want to go
She's
anywhere
having
because
fun.
she's having fun.
Yeah.
And her family, she's like, my family stinks.
Yeah.
So why would I go visit them when I can hang out with you guys and like have fun
Yeah.
and do all this stuff? Which like,
And does she
yeah,
have what we would perceive as a tragic backstory? Yeah.
yes,
But to her, like, she's got no hard feelings. She's like,
hmm,
what a way to go,
yeah,
and like she's
what a way to
never,
go.
if she passed on the dance floor and she's like, it's kind of epic, and she makes jokes about it. It makes me a
Exactly,
little bit uncomfortable, but that's who she is. And her being here has absolutely nothing to do with her story.
exactly.
Girl just want to have fun.
Girl, just want to have fun. Next one. This is number 6. You must be psychic to have experiences with haunted dolls.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Nope. If you are a psychic or a medium, you will have more experiences.
Mhm.
I will say you'll have more
But
experiences.
different
Right.
experiences.
But doesn't mean that you have to have any specific set of skills to be a collector.
Absolutely.
Anybody can collect, anybody can work with spirits. You just are going to work with spirits in a different way.
Mhm.
If you're a psychic or a medium than somebody who's not. So for example, Mitchell, he gets a ton of telepathy, whereas for me to be able to communicate with them, like I rely on that spirit box. I have to have it.
Mhm.
And so it's a different experience, but it doesn't mean it's a worse experience or less of an experience or less
It's just
valid.
different.
It's just different.
Yeah. And I think as well, this is another time where trusting the process is very helpful. Even if you do have you have some psychic gifts and you're not getting a lot from the haunted doll, give it time.
A lot of people
A lot
grow
of
their
people
skills.
grow their skills. That was the case for me, especially. But sometimes that's not how they like to communicate. You can't assume that they are going to communicate a certain way. Sometimes, we have some spirits that don't use telepathy at all. Some really prefer the spirit box. Some really prefer, the Ouija board. Some really prefer lights. It really depends on the spirit. So once again, if you feel like that communication is struggling, try some different things, but don't expect psychic abilities to unlock everything. Don't feel like you're behind if you don't have that. That's absolutely not the case. I think
Yeah.
someone can build an incredible relationship with a spirit, regardless of if they have those gifts or not.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Next one, we are on number 7. Ooh, Taylor, you're gonna like this one.
Oh dear.
Well, not like it, but you know what I mean.
Would not like it.
Haunted dolls are cursed objects.
False. A haunted doll and a cursed doll are two entirely
Very
different
different.
things. So, in a very brief nutshell, this is very complex, so I'm not going to go into this
I
because
think Taylor could go into this
I
for
could.
we'd be here
I
all
could.
day. We'd be here till tomorrow.
Yes, this is a soapbox. I'm going to contain myself. Just hit me or something if I go too
No,
far.
I'm letting you go.
So,
You got it.
haunted dolls, this is when we have an object plus a spirit. Okay? See, I'm simplifying.
This is great. You're doing great.
Okay?
Keep it up.
Haunted doll, object,
Mm-hmm.
spirit.
Oh, great.
Intelligent.
That's it?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was
the
like,
other part.
that's really quick.
No. Cursed object is object, magic / curse, no spirit. Okay? So when you're engaging with a haunted doll, you're engaging with an intelligent spirit, communicative, etc. When you're dealing with a cursed object, the way I like to compare this to simplify it is somebody has put a curse on that object with the intent to do something, usually cause some kind of misfortune. A lot of different things they can cause, but cause some kind of misfortune to people that engage with it. This is not an intelligent spirit that is out to get you, to ruin your life. This is an effect of magic. The way I like to think of haunted doll is this is hopefully friend. Cursed object is basically like a dark storm cloud that follows you around. And you can't negotiate it with it because there's nobody there to negotiate with. So I'm gonna leave it at yes.
That was pretty
I'm gonna leave
concise.
it.
That felt very much like, when someone's like, explain it to me like I'm 5. That was
I've clearly practiced that explanation.
You
because
have. That
otherwise I
felt
get
very
way lost in the
rehearsed.
sauce on that one.
Felt very rehearsed.
Thank you.
I mean, in a good way. In a good way. In a good way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
No,
didn't
that
want
was
to
good.
take up the whole episode on that.
I mean, because you could. She believe me when I say she could.
This is an interest.
Okay. Next one. Next one. Next one. Oh my god, I said that 5 times. Number 8. Spirits are trapped inside the doll.
False. I
False.
don't know. I've said false on all of them. They're
That's okay.
misconceptions, so they're supposed to be false.
No, it's good. You're making the people
False.
understand. It's nice and clear.
No, this misconception that they're all trapped, they're stuck, etc. Not true. A majority, there are obviously one-off cases of things like binding, where a spirit is bound to an object. Not ethical. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
But in most cases, a spirit has chose to stay with that object for any number of reasons, and as such they can choose to go whenever they want. In our case, our situation, everybody always asks, so do you help them cross over? If that is what they want, yes. If they don't want that, no, because I'm not going to play and I have control over a spirit's afterlife. That doesn't feel good to me. Their afterlife is their afterlife to do what they choose with it. If that is being here, great. If that is not, also great. It's whatever they want and whatever, their afterlife's journey is supposed to look like per their agenda, not mine.
Yeah. And I think the extent that they travel outside of their doll is very, very, very dependent on the spirit. I think we've given this example before, but Jeremiah is a great example. He'll travel all over the place. He visits our friends in the UK. He visits our other friends in down the street. He'll be all over the place, and he loves doing that, and that's an ability he has. Whereas Dayu is a good example.
She travels in the
She
house.
travels in house and stays very, very close to her vessel. And once again, it's not that one is better than the other. It's just different. It's what they prefer, and it very much matches their personality. Yeah. So it really, really depends on what. But once again, a very common misconception. Next one. All haunted dolls look creepy.
False.
I feel like all of ours look awesome.
We're biased though.
I guess.
But no, I have seen so many times. I see so many posts of people who aren't in the paranormal field posting like a creepy doll they found at the thrift store, and they're like, guys, is this haunted? Because it's like literally a composition doll from the 20s,
Yeah, and it's always like it's cracked, and there's an
it's
eye
the cracked
missing.
composition doll, so it must be haunted.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going to leave this one with haunted does not have a look. Anything can be haunted. In fact, some of the cute ones are the most deceiving.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah, it's haunted doesn't have a look. It literally could be anything.
Also, could not be a doll.
Yeah.
We've seen plenty of things that have a spirit attached to them that are not dolls.
Yeah. Jewelry.
We've seen masks. We saw the shoe.
Random trinkets.
All sorts of things.
The shoe. Not the shoe. We're not bringing the shoe conversation.
We're not bringing the shoe conversation.
We've moved on.
Whatever you say. Next one is number 10. A haunted doll must be expensive to be legitimate.
No, this is a huge buyer misconception. We
Big
talked
time.
about this in the last episode, so I'm not going to get hugely into it, but you cannot put a price on a spirit. A $60 haunted doll is going to be no different than a $500 haunted doll. You can't put a price on activity level either. That's just not how it works. There's no such thing as more haunted or less haunted or anything like that. A spirit is a spirit, and you can't put a price on it. So don't feel like you need to spend an astronomical amount of money to get something legitimate, because you don't.
Yeah. I don't want to say for sure that the, $2 million haunted dolls are, not necessarily the most true thing, but, I'll take that.
They're usually not.
They're usually not.
You're a lot nicer and more.
I'm a lot nicer. Yes.
No, it's
usually not. Yeah. Next one, number 11. You need to do special rituals to own a haunted doll, welcome them into your home, or stay safe.
No.
Once again, straight up not true. False.
Could you? Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
If that is your personal spiritual practice and belief system, yes. But just because there are people that do that doesn't mean you have to do that if that does not resonate with you or
Correct.
your belief system. It is not a rule, it is a choice.
Yes. Wow, that was very concise. That was good.
I'm working really hard.
You're doing really good.
Our list is long.
Our list is quite long.
I'm
We're
trying
like
to be-
almost halfway.
Yeah, I'm trying to be on it.
This is great.
Yeah.
I think
I soapboxed a lot last week, so I'm trying to be better.
That's good. I think I think the important part is you want to do something that feels good to you, and something that sort of resonates with who you are. If you have a spiritual practice, what resonates with that? Something that makes you feel good and makes you feel safe in your own home. Because the last thing you would want is to welcome spirit into your home and have either that spirit feel unsafe or you feel unsafe. That's not a good situation all across the board. So I think it's important to make sure that you have, you've thought about that prior to welcoming the spirit into your home. Next one, number 12. Everyone experiences haunted dolls the same way. False. I think we've talked.
I keep saying false.
No, this is great. You just good. We've talked about this one a little bit already, where I feel like experiences are very individualized to the person. I would even wager to say that there are no two experiences that are really similar at all,
Even with the same spirit.
even with the same spirit. I know Taylor and I, for the same spirit, have experienced very different things.
Because they respond to your energy differently. There's
Exactly.
like an energy exchange piece, and your energy has to do with the interaction you're having.
Correct.
And no two people have the same energy
Exactly. And
or
as
the same
and as a
ability to
result,
perceive.
yeah, no two spirits have the same energy. So I think it creates a very unique combination of you and the spirit, and sort of the interaction that you have with them is great.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, it can change over time. So let's say you start with one experience, over time you change to a different experience. If the spirit becomes more comfortable, maybe you learn to communicate in a different way. Maybe they learn to communicate in a different way. Maybe you're in a different, part of your life, or things like that. Maybe there's other things that are going around in the situation that may change the way that you interact with them. It's so individualized that I would say it's almost impossible to have the same interaction twice.
And this is one reason why I think treating the bios you get from the seller as law is a really bad idea. Because one, these spirits can change over time.
Mhm.
Two, when you're reading a bio, you are reading that seller's experience with that doll. And not every seller is going to perceive things the way you do, have the same energy as you. So while they're, sometimes in bios, I see very subjective things like, oh, I really don't like this one or whatever. And I take those things with a grain of salt, because just because one person doesn't jive with that doesn't mean I won't.
Yeah.
And so, when you're reading bios, remember that you're reading a bio that is written from the perspective of somebody that's not you. And so you may have a different experience. While one person can have a really positive experience with a spirit, that spirit may not like somebody and totally flip and be a different way with somebody else. Like I think Destiny that we have is a really good example of
Yeah.
this.
Agreed.
There are people that have fantastic experiences with Destiny. I have been lucky to be one of them. I have a great relationship with Destiny. Destiny is like, like one of the spirits that I would consider myself to be the closest with. We get each other, we have this banter, we get along, it's funny. There are people that would think that Destiny was a demon if, she interacted with them in the way that she sometimes chooses to do. She doesn't like authority figures. She doesn't like law enforcement. She doesn't like, lawyers. She doesn't like, and she will act accordingly. So, I think that's important to note is the vast range of experiences you can have, but that again is the same as the living. There are
Yeah.
going to be people who love and hate anybody on this planet.
Yeah.
Every single person has people who love them and people who hate them. And yeah,
Yeah. I
that's
feel
the
like,
same.
especially when I start my relationship with a new spirit that we have, I kind of treat the bio as just a starting point,
Yeah.
and then as we develop over time, you start to
Things to ask about.
yeah, things to ask about, right? And then you start to get a better idea of who they are, their personality, what they like, what they don't like. I think this is another good reason why we take notes during
Mhm.
our sessions. Not saying that you have to, but it can be very helpful when you're communicating for months, years, having these many different ways of communication, to remember a lot of the things that they have talked about, because you're not going to remember everything naturally. So sometimes it's nice if they mention one thing that they're really a big fan of, or they really like in the spring that this happens. Maybe next spring, when the next spring comes around, that could be something that you and them could revisit that conversation, and that can be really positive as well.
Yep.
And especially for us, considering we have a lot of spirits,
Yes.
it gets a little tough to remember sometimes. I really try my best, but I cannot say that I do a great job. Next one. The more expensive the doll, the more activity you will receive.
Oh, I already answered that.
We answered that a little
No.
bit.
No.
Not the case at all.
Activity levels has to do with energy, not the price of the doll. And yeah.
Yeah. And once again, your experience is going to be different than other experiences. So a spirit that's very active for one person may not be active for the next person.
Mhm.
Or it could be depending on the time of year.
Yep.
Right? Like Evany is a good example. Like she told us, she's like,
Evie
Evany
and
and
Naoxa
Naoxa are
switched.
opposites. switch.
They switch on us.
I
So
think
we
it
get
was
Naoxa in the
in the
summer and
summer.
we get Evney in the
Yes.
winter. And
Yes.
they
I think she said it was around this time last year. She was like, "Hey, it's getting warmer. You're not going to talk to me for the
she
next
goes
6 months.
if you need anything from me, like let me know. But
I
like
won't.
you're probably not
You're
gonna
probably
hear
not going to hear
much."
from me."
We're like, okay, that's fine. She's like, I hate the summer. I'm like, same.
You're like, "That's fine. That's fine." I mean,
Yeah.
she is in like a full winter coat
I
and
love her.
hat.
At least she's honest.
She is. I mean, and even Max is like, "Don't talk to me in the winter." That's cool. Next one. All haunted dolls communicate clearly.
No.
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 I'd
No.
say more unclear sometimes.
No. No. Are there haunted dolls that can communicate very clearly? Yes. We
Yes.
have haunted dolls that can build a sentence and it is clear and audible. We have haunted dolls like Dick, who literally anybody new can put on headphones and hear what that man is saying. It is
Yes.
so easy to talk to him on the spirit box. That is not all of them. There are some, that we have worked with for a long time that I still very, very much struggle to understand. But that doesn't mean it's not ever possible. I always remind people, if you have a haunted doll that has communication challenges of any degree, whether it be they're not loud enough on the spirit box, we have a particularly difficult time with quietness with children. Certain kids are really quiet, and then also spirits who are very introverted or shy can be
Mhm.
very quiet, which when they're quiet, they're hard to understand, right?
Mhm.
Language barriers, things like that make communication more challenging. Don't give up. Stefania, right there. She's an excellent example. Stefania was one of our very first haunted dolls. She has been here since the beginning. Communicating with her was something that
Really
no
hard.
matter what I did, I like really couldn't get it down to a place that I was happy with, where I felt like we'd hear some things, but it was never at a place where I felt like we could have like a genuine conversation with her. Literally 3 months ago, she's the spirit box answering in sentences on me, and we're like finally there.
Yeah.
She finally figured it out. I figured out how to understand her, and I found a spirit box that she likes, which is not the usual one we use.
Mhm.
And we figured it out. So if you have a challenging one to communicate with, don't give up, because it could happen, just not at the timeline you're expecting. And we've
Yes.
had that happen a couple times. Mia didn't
Mia's a
spirit
great
box for
example.
years and years, and then randomly one day she shows up and she's like, "It's Mia," and we're
Can
like,
can
"What?"
she's like, "Can you hear me?
Yeah, she's
It's
like,
Mia."
"I figured it out. Can you hear me?" And we're like,
It was awesome.
"Yeah." So
She was so
don't give up.
excited.
Don't give
It
up.
and it requires a tremendous amount of practice, and I feel like sometimes we feel like it's solely on us. It requires practice from them
Two
too.
ways.
It's two ways. That's why just trying and keeping a positive attitude about it can be very helpful. If you go into it and you're very negative, or you're
If you're
expecting it
expecting
not
it
to
to go bad,
work,
yeah.
expecting it to go bad, it's not going to go bad. Don't get angry. Don't, being frustrated is okay, but make sure it's still from a place of positivity, especially when we're dealing with the kids, because
Yeah.
they, trust me, they are trying. And we just got confirmation from the light flickering. They are really, really, really trying. And then when they do get it, it's like such a huge moment for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Communication is a two-way street, and it's never one person's fault or the others.
Yes.
So.
Number 15, negative experiences always mean hostility.
No, definitely not. And we are seeing this more and more and more with some of my choices. Types of spirits I'm enjoying working with. We have a couple of spirits who have caused a couple of people to have negative experiences. Couple of them. That does not always mean hostility. We have Haro, who makes people feel like they are melting, and causing them to act very manic and laughing and crying and seeing things and things like that. That they don't necessarily enjoy feeling. Haro thinks this is funny. This
Yeah.
is for Haro's entertainment. He does not want to cause you harm. In fact, the other day I was talking to him about it, and he was like, "No crying, please." Like he does not want you to be unhappy. Like he wants you to like have a good time.
It's his way of joking around.
Yes, and he's like, "Bad experience, I hear," and I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of is." Like he's like, "Not great feeling." I'm like, "No, it's not." Like, but he doesn't always get that either. I think it's important to remember too, when spirits are engaging with us, like they don't know how we're going to perceive it. they don't know how it's going to make us feel. Like, I've always wondered that with horror. I was like, does he realize what he is doing to the human brain? I'm not sure.
Well, and a lot of times, some of these, well, not a lot of times, but some of these spirits aren't spirits that have or had human
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah.
So they have no idea how we're going to react to these things. They just sort of do it
Yeah.
and see what happens.
I see this a lot with like kids giving people a really negative experience, actually. Not because they want to cause harm or be hostile or anything like that. Very often out of fear. Deanna was a big one when she first got here.
Yeah.
Deanna was trying to scare the pants off of me. Like, and it was sustained.
For a while.
It was sustained. It was like, the scratching on the walls and the big shadow figures and the jump scares and things like that. Deanna was scared of me, so she was trying to scare me first.
Which is understandable.
She was terrified
from
of
a
us.
kid that's scared.
Yeah, she was really scared of us. And so, there are certain spirits that are like, get into this, like, well, you can't scare me if I scare you first. And that was just the kind of the dynamic we got into. Agatha threatened me pretty severely one night. I had a conversation with her, and I asked her about it, and what that ended up coming down to was she was new here and she didn't feel comfortable with me, and she kind of lashed out. Um we've had this happen over and over and over again, especially with kids, where it's just they are freaked out, and sometimes them being freaked out leads to these negative experiences. Can negative experiences be hostile? Yes, we have had that experience too, where like there is a spirit who is genuinely trying to give you a bad time, trying to torment you. That does happen, yes. But I think that differentiating between the two can be hard because the same activity could be done for two different reasons. This is why your communication is so important. So you can ask, why did you do that?
Yeah. I think
And they can tell you, rather than you just jumping to it's bad.
it also comes back to intention. I mean, I feel like we've talked about this so much. I feel like it's one of the first things we talked about on this podcast way back when, but you can't assume the intention of the spirit.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're trying to
But you can
achieve,
find out.
but you can ask. Right. And that may be something that, if you ask, they may not tell you right away, but that's something that you can continue to work on that relationship over time. And, hopefully they'll open up to you a little bit, but you cannot assume what they're doing and the reason that they're doing it. You don't know until you ask.
Yep.
Okay. Number 16. Ooh, we get this one a lot too. You cannot have children and or pets if you have haunted dolls.
That is false. We've talked about this one a lot on this episode, or not on this episode, on
In the
prior
past.
episodes.
Yeah.
And I do this. We talk about this a lot on my lives as well. A lot of people are wondering this. You can have children and pets around haunted dolls. However, I encourage people to exercise more caution about the type of spirit you're bringing in, because children and animals are more vulnerable than an adult is. So to do this, what I recommend, I don't recommend random spirits, thrift stores, that kind of stuff, because you can find some stuff that can come into your house and really, wreak havoc. With kids and pets, we had that happen. Not fun.
Not fun.
Not fun. I recommend buying from a seller, messaging that seller and saying, hey, do you have you ever had this spirit around kids or pets? How did they do? Would they be okay in a home? Some of them it will be listed in their bio. A lot of times it's not, but the seller still knows. So message those sellers, and an ethical, reliable, good seller will happily answer your questions. A seller that cares about the spirit and cares about the success of the relationship will message you back and will tell you. So I just recommend asking.
I think this is another good thing to think about: education for the kids. If you are bringing a spirit with your kids, if you're interacting those two, a lot of education about the situation that's happening is very, very important. I think also sometimes you have to really make sure it's the right fit. Like, for example, if your dog is going to like bite and chew something that looks like a stuffed animal bunny, maybe you don't get a spirit that is a stuffed animal bunny. That's probably going to be a bad time.
Yeah.
Probably not going to do well. Or if you know that you have cats that like to mess with your spirits, put them in a place where the cats can't get at them. right? That's what we do a lot of times. And the cats still find ways to interact with them. They'll get up in their face a little bit. But we've been able to sort of taper that in and make sure we have positive spirits. And, our pets have responded very positively to them, which has been great.
Yeah.
So make sure you do education, make sure you do your research,
Yeah.
which I feel like things we've talked about in the
Yep.
past. Next one, this is number 17. This is our second to last misconception. 17. Only dolls can be haunted. It could be a shoe.
Could be anything. We already talked about that one, didn't we?
We did.
So you can go to the next one.
Okay. Number 18. Only people who believe in haunted dolls will have experiences with them.
No. So I have had many skeptics over here have many experiences. This is something I think a lot of people get into with belief is like, is the paranormal happening because of belief, or is the paranormal happening because it's like a physical fact? And I think belief is part of it, but I definitely don't think there's all of it. I think if you believe in it, you're going to be more perceptive, and you're probably going to notice if something weird happens, where somebody who doesn't believe may kind of like ignore the more subtle things paranormal wise that happen. But people who don't believe can definitely have experiences. There is an interesting movie that we watched. I don't remember what platform it is. It might be Amazon. So search this though. We watched this movie called The Cursed Man. And this was an interesting documentary. It was a guy.
It was on Amazon. Yeah.
He didn't believe in witchcraft, but he wanted to see if magic was real. So he went around to people from all different practices and asked them to curse him, hex him, etc.
It was pretty wild.
And to see, I don't believe in it. I don't think this is real. So let's see if anything happened to me. And spoiler alert, things happened. I'm not going to tell you what in case you want to watch the movie, but things happened. And yeah, so I would definitely say no, you don't have to believe to have experiences with haunted dolls or the paranormal in general.
Sometimes even our dolls, for example, take it as a challenge.
We see more activity.
We see more activity. Someone comes in and they're like, I don't believe in haunted dolls. They're like, let's go. Like, they really take it as a challenge.
People who don't believe in our house typically have more experiences.
It's true. Or like if we have people, like a group of people that comes over and, one or two of them don't, like, they will show off to the entire group.
Yeah.
They will make sure people are aware that they are here. Now that may just be specific to our spirits. Right? But you could have some spirits that have that sort of personality as well. We have a lot of spirits with a lot of big personality and they want to be seen.
Yeah.
So when someone says that they're not real, they like to prove them wrong.
Yeah. Which, there's something about that I love. Some of them got that main character energy.
They do. That was our last misconception.
All right.
18 of them we went through.
All right. Well, I do want to offer, before we go into our spirit of the week, those are the most common misconceptions we hear. But if there is a misconception or something that you've heard about and you're not sure if it's true, drop them in the comments. I will respond to your comments about that, and we'll happily tell you our take on it. So offers open. If there's something you've heard a lot, but you're not sure if it's true or not. I love myth busting, misconception bursting, all of the things. So yeah, please feel free to drop those in the comments. Sure. We are not done. We have a very special spirit of the week for you, who is very enthusiastic about being spirit of the week and used it as an opportunity to try to score some gifts
and a possible pizza party.
Yes, and a pizza party. So yeah, she's excited to be here. She's always excited to be here. So we are looking forward to you hearing her responses when we get back. It is dance time. Dance on our commercial break, and we will see you momentarily. I was built to last with the whims of weaving. I could change the past with all of achieving. Got my foot on the gas, never stop competing. If you break my glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, but there's logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the...
And we are back with our spirit of the week.
It's
It is
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Oh, she is so fun.
Yes.
She's got a big personality.
Yes, she
For a
does.
teeny little vessel.
Yes. Teeny little vessel with side eye.
Yes. Taylor, why don't you tell us a little bit about Sylvia?
Yeah. So Sylvia is a spirit who she's kind of interesting because she's one of those spirits who like really hasn't been here that long in the grand scheme of things. Like probably like half a year. But it feels like she's always been here because she just like came in day one and just was like, I go here.
Yeah, she came in hot.
Yeah, there was no warm up period with Sylvia. There was no getting to know each other. It was just we didn't know Sylvia and then we did. And we knew everything about Sylvia because Sylvia loves to talk. She's very chatty. She's super fun. Sylvia is about 14 from the 80s. She loves rock music, heavy metal music. She's a party animal. She's very fond of our Alexa and
She loves the Alexa.
putting on music and choosing music and having music input. I had to install the Domino's app on the Alexa because she also likes pizza, but she likes to order it from the Alexa and have us. Yeah. So she is a riot. She has such a good sense of humor. She's such a lighthearted spirit to
She's
be
great
around.
vibes.
Yeah, she just like wants to get to know people. She's one of our spirits who anytime we have somebody new come over, if they want to practice, they want to try something, they want to talk to somebody and just get to know what this hobby is all about. Sylvia is always one that I recommend giving a shot to work with because she is so happy to work with anybody. She's not shy. She doesn't care if you know what you're doing or not. She just wants to hang out and she's happy about it. And especially if you give her a snack, preferably pizza.
She loves pizza.
But yeah, Sylvia is great. If you would like to learn more about her backstory, I will obviously link that in the description down below. It is available and you can learn more about her. But she is so great. And has brought a lot of light to our house. She always keeps us laughing. And she's very encouraging and great. So
Yeah. Awesome. So let's get into our spirit of the week questions. So a reminder of how this works. We do a spirit box interview with Sylvia. All these questions are submitted by you guys. I read your questions word for word. I write down her answers word for word. So let's get into it. I said, Sylvia, are you ready for your spirit of the week interview? And she said, gas station today, please. She said, I want something. She said, ugh, dumpling. So backstory.
So we had Hannah led the pack on wanting one of these dumpling fidgets earlier in the week. And I had to go hunt down these dumpling fidgets that are apparently very popular right now. She heard about them because somebody I was talking to had one and showed me. And so she had to have the dumpling.
Yes.
And all of her friends had to have the dumpling.
Naturally.
And now Sylvia wants a dumpling too.
Of course.
And Mitchell, before this, went and looked for dumpling. Could not find a dumpling at the store.
I was there for a half hour, walking up and down the toy aisle, trying to find his dumplings.
So we're going to have to find her a dumpling. But we did find her an alternative food fidget to keep her busy. So now she has ice cream.
It was pretty cute. I mean, I thought it was a solid move.
Cute.
It wasn't a dumpling.
No.
But it was an alternate.
Some of this spirit of the week interview is interrupted with dumpling talk. So
Yes.
that's the backstory on
We'll
that.
get to it. So first question is from Lord Oracle. They ask, since you listen to a bit of rock and heavy metal, have you had the chance yet to listen to more modern bands that are playing today? And if so, what is your favorite? And Sylvia said, I do like Blink 182. And I said, oh, Taylor really likes Blink 182. She said, where I heard 182.
182.
I was like, oh, great. There you go. Solid choice.
Mhm.
Solid choice.
Yeah, not mad about that.
Next one. Oh, this one's great. This is from Spider. Spider asked, what is your favorite hobby? I love art. And Sylvia said, I don't have one. Maybe if you could pick one for me, please. I said, maybe we'll ask Spider if she has a hobby or if they have a hobby they could recommend for you. And Sylvia said, all right.
All right.
So there you go.
All right.
Spider, recommend a hobby for Sylvia. Sylvia's interested.
Big responsibility.
It is. Next question is from Spider. If you could give any general piece of advice, what would it be? And Sylvia said, don't be boring person. Have fun.
Don't be boring.
Don't be boring person. We need that on like a t-shirt. Next question's from Spider. What is the silliest thing you've done recently? And Sylvia said, I can't tell you it. Working on something for a vacation to my house. I'll tell you later, Spider. So there you go.
We have some people coming over for things in the coming months, and yeah,
Yes.
I'm concerned. Anyway, we can move on.
We can move on. Next question is from Spider. Are there any new songs you're into lately? And Sylvia said, yay. I like the song Pinky. And I was like, do you mean the Pinky Up song? She said, yeah.
It's totally your fault.
Guilty.
Mitchell's doing this dance in the house and singing it. Oh wow.
I'm
Okay,
guilty. I'm
okay.
guilty of it. It's a jam. I mean, and Sylvia likes it, so clearly I'm not alone.
You're doing great.
Doing great. Next question's from Spider. Spider says, I've been on a diet. What do you think should be my next cheat meal? I think you'd come up with something exciting. Taylor, what do you think Sylvia said?
Probably pizza.
How about Domino's?
Everything that can come back to pizza is just going to be pizza.
I mean, solid choice. Next question is from Nerdinator. They ask, what kind of pizza is your favorite? And Sylvia said, must have pepperoni, you know? Can we order? And then she said, order Alexa, Domino's. So she's asking for a pizza party.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Next question from Nerdinator. What would your perfect pizza party look like? And Sylvia said pizza at concert.
That's a good option.
Does sound like fun.
I like that.
I mean, that's a solid choice. Next question is from Nerdinator. Are there any objects in the house that are especially meaningful to you? And Sylvia said, no.
Okay.
There you go.
No.
No. Next question's from Nerdinator. Who do you get along with best? And Sylvia said, I like everyone. Friends a lot with Raymond.
That's terrifying.
Crazy that she calls him by his full name.
Yeah, that's a combo.
That's a combo.
That's a combo.
That's something. I mean, to be fair, they're both very silly.
Yeah.
I feel like Ray is like a really bad influence older brother.
They also got here around the same time, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question is from Katie. Sylvia, what is your favorite quality of Taylor and of Mitch? And what has been the best part of your experience staying with them so far? And Sylvia said, double funny person and her hair.
Thanks.
And then I said, Sylvia, what about my hair? And she said, bald. That's why I didn't say his.
You set yourself up.
I did. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
It's okay. Next question from Nerdinator. What is your favorite Whitesnake or Joan Jett song? And Sylvia said, love rock and roll. Excellent song.
Yeah.
Excellent
for
song.
sure.
For sure. Next question is from Nerdinator. Do you prefer classic rock, glam metal, heavy metal, or a mixture of everything? And Sylvia said, Heavy metal. I added the rock on. She didn't say that. That was a Mitchell edition. Next question is from Nerdinator. What first made you fall in love with heavy metal and hard rock? And Sylvia said, it's the loudest. Best music. I mean, to be fair, if it is the loudest, it is.
Yeah.
So that's just, if that's what works, that's what works.
It's just a fact.
You know? Next question. From Nerdinator. What would you say to someone who is afraid of spirits? And Sylvia said, really? Boring person.
Don't be boring person.
Don't be boring person. Last question from Nerdinator. Is there a message you want to share with anyone watching this video? And Sylvia said, have fun. Bye.
Have fun. Bye.
There you go. Don't be boring person.
So that is Sylvia in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching this episode about misconceptions. Misconceptions are things that float around all the time on the internet. And I think it is important to remember when you're listening to anybody making a claim about a haunted doll is, do they even have experience with haunted doll? Have they ever even met a haunted doll or worked with a haunted doll or been around a haunted doll? Usually the answer is no. Usually these types of things come from people who have never even met one. And the internet, things run wild on the internet. And we see that all the time. I just thought of a misconception I should have put on the list, so I'm going to say it now. You don't need to apologize to haunted dolls for looking at them on the internet. The haunted doll community gets thousands and thousands and thousands of sorry comments on their videos. You don't need to do it. People think they need to do it to be respectful. I actually think that it's more disrespectful, because, a lot of these are spirits who want to be seen, who want to engage with you, who want your attention, and to just like dismiss them by broadly apologizing to all of them, honestly, is pretty rude. So being mindful of that. Also, I think it's very interesting. I'm on multiple platforms, and only on TikTok do people apologize. Nothing bad is happening to any of the people on the other platforms that do not apologize. So we have been, a lot of people have designed at this point different like little pictures to tell people they don't need to say sorry.
There's some real good ones.
We've been trying to make that a new trend over on TikTok, where now we are seeing people we don't even know using like the images.
I love it.
That
Absolutely
we've made,
love it. It's hilarious.
To like just like comment back to the sorry people, because ultimately what it is a trend, but a trend is not something that is always accurate or valid. I always encourage people to do their own research. Just because you see somebody else doing something in the paranormal doesn't mean that you have to, or it is necessarily the thing that is right. So helping break down those misconceptions. If you see them, you care about spirits, any chance you get to educate people when you see a misconception come up, I think is really, really, really important.
Stick up for the spirits.
Because, I know it's annoying, and there are so many people out there that do these things and say these things, but they don't know that they don't have to unless we teach them. And so rather than getting into internet feuds and fights and whatever, when we see misconceptions come up, like being able to educate people on what the reality is, I think is the best thing we can do for these spirits. So if you are somebody out there who is passionate about dispelling myths and misconceptions, go you. We appreciate you. Our spirits appreciate you too. I know that those kinds of responses to them is something that they really don't like. We have had conversations multiple times. They do not like it. So if you are out there doing the work to break down some of these myths, just know we appreciate you, because it's very, very important. So on that note, thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. If you're interested in seeing Sylvia's story, again, it is in the description. If you are interested in seeing Sylvia's spirit box session, which is where these answers came from, we always post those to our subscription on TikTok. That is where we share our Estes method sessions, and things of that nature. If you are very interested in Spirit Box, you can hit the join button down below. show, our membership here on YouTube, we do lives every single Friday night where you actually get to ask them questions live during Spirit Box sessions, and see what they have to say to you about it.
It's always interesting.
You never know who
You
you're
never
gonna
know.
get. You never know what it's gonna be. But we really enjoy it. They really look forward to it. So if you'd ever like to join us on a Friday night, we would love to have you. And Sylvia is a frequent flyer over
She
there.
is.
That's one of Sylvia's favorite things is the
She
Friday
loves
nights.
it. Loves it. Loves
have
being
to bring
social.
that up for her. But thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.